pulling our kids apart. That's what's hard for moms and dads, is you are standing facing your kid that you've raised, you've loved, you've protected for your entire life, or their entire lives, and you realize that that's the very person that may be bringing such intensity to the home and the family and the relationship. You know, a lot of times we are faced with a child that is maybe as extreme as verbally abusive, harsh, angry, and that's the addiction. That's the part that we figured out. If we can pull those two pieces apart, that's our child, yes, but there's addiction there, and we have to address that. We have to face that as much as we love that kid, we have an addict that is causing behaviors and attitudes that we can't stand for any longer in the relationship. We can't always be giving so much mercy to the disease, to addiction, that then we get taken out. Yeah. We ended with that this isn't about doing anything. This is about awareness that we are there, and that it's hugely impactful, that we can even say that word. You know, it's abusive to be on the receiving end of that type of behavior. That's a big deal, and we're not moving in any kind of action. It's just sitting in that and realizing that and knowing that we're at that point. That can be enough. No more. Nothing to be done at that point. So yeah, Tuesday night we even talked about recognizing what it feels like to, you know, when the intensity gets so strong and so powerful, whether it's a subtle intensity or a very highly chaotic environment. There's two kinds, and they're both very powerful. We're able to identify that as much as we may have a child that our relationship is about screaming and yelling and fighting, as much as that's harmful and can be intense, the other end can be a child that sits in just a very strong, unmoving place where we don't get any kind of feedback or any kind of recognition that we have a problem in the home. So both of those very, very powerful. And then recognizing it comes back to us. What am I feeling? Do I feel it in my gut? Do I feel it in my chest? Am I feeling that I know something's not right and it needs to change? And sometimes it takes a while to get there, to understand that, to be self-aware enough that I'm feeling this, and it has to create something. It will create something that looks like change eventually. Maybe not now, maybe moving on. For me, I just knew that that when I started to feel the feeling that this is not the way my kid would normally be behaving, I knew that I had to start doing something different. Whether it was stepping out of the conversation, saying I'm actually going to have to be the one that says, this is not going well, this is not feeling good, I'm going to step out. Or it's the phone call where I say, I can't hear that word again. I can't hear you talking to me like that anymore. I'm going to have to hang up. Simple, subtle boundaries I started to put those in place, and it started to shift some things. It's way too hard to do it alone. When we're in that room together in the parent support group, after we're able to even become present and aware, you know, we start off with, we want to feel the chair we're sitting in. We want to regulate our breathing. We want to recognize that we're in a safe place where people understand us. Sometimes it's hard to even get there. You know, for a mom or a dad that has been stuck in ruminating thought on how did I get here? How do I fix this? How do I change the way things are going? That's a big deal. And a lot of the people that we have come in, they're doing this alone. They don't have anybody to say to them, we're going to get through this. We're going to figure this out. You're not doing this alone. That's a big deal. And that's where the support of people that care and understand and can relate can change everything. We had a dad in the room that shows up periodically, and he, a year ago, was sitting in a chair grieving and hoping that things could turn out different for his family, and now he comes back and is kind enough to pass on the message that the miracles happened, that the recovery and the restoration of his family and his son is real. And he's so generous with the stories of how God is faithful and he's good and he hears us, and that we hold the hope for the families and the parents that are there that can't imagine that it could ever get better again. We have that every week.
We'll have nothing less.
Yeah, we'll have nothing less.
Mm-hmm.